our local news today, which ties in with what we're about to speak about now, which is basically physical inactivity. Joining me this morning to speak about that, we say good morning to Lavina Mehta. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Do you know what, I must say, I have sat here having a little stalk of you in a good way. I'm looking at your Instagram and your website, and it makes me feel very, very inactive. Like looking at your Instagram, you're always doing something, aren't you?
I am, but I have had my own wellness journey. Did you see my before and after pics?
I have, yeah. We're talking today about Asian and minority ethnic people are less likely to be physically active. Now, I did mention in the build-up that we have a story in our local news today. Slough, unfortunately, and this is not a record to be proud of, has ranked within the top 5 towns in the country where people are likely to be inactive. That is a worry,
Wow.
isn't it?
That is pretty shocking, yes. So I think generally in the UK, as you said, Asians are less likely than the overall average population to be physically active. And that leads on to so many increased risks of common chronic diseases, unfortunately. So especially in Slough, wow, that's amazing statistics. So I'm very passionate about this whole campaign that I'm trying to get the UK Asians fit and healthy.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone, I guess, has a duty of care to themselves, don't they, to be the best them that they can be, mentally, physically, and everything. And as you say, and we'll come on to it, inactivity does pose unfortunate health, doesn't it, which is not good. Firstly, though, just tell me a little bit about yourself as well. For anyone who's thinking, who is we're listening to? Lavina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, hi everyone. I am a personal trainer and a wellness coach. I'm actually a British Asian, so I was born in London, and I'm a mum of 3 boys. So I've obviously been brought up in this country. I can see my first generation and how we are. I've also got my parents, and I've got 3 children, so I'm thinking about the next generation as well. I have been through my own wellness journey, as I said. So after having my children, I got into fitness and then I retrained. I used to actually work in the city as a project manager. So I have had the corporate background as well. But my whole passion now in life is to try and get people to look at exercise as a way, like you say, not just for your body, but your mind. So I'm very passionate about mental health benefits as well. And looking at obviously trying to give people tips and advice. Majority are actually free. So obviously things like workouts and things that I'm posting on my Instagram are a great source for people to look at.
Now, I mean, exercise, let's just be honest here, right? Physical inactivity is not difficult to change if you have the right mindset, because exercise doesn't have to be grueling. You don't have to go to a gym. There are things you can do, aren't there, like walk briskly, even cutting your grass counts as exercise. Things like that people may think, oh, well, I'm not doing that much. There are easy things that you can do, and as you say, your Instagram and your website full of tips, absolutely free, that people can do to up their activity levels.
Exactly. I really want to make it easy, especially for some of the older Asian generation. I think the whole issue now is this sedentary lifestyle. So actually trying to get people to incorporate easy, quick fixes in their daily lifestyle. So like you say, I'm a big promoter of walking. And the studies show that there's some amazing research about how if you do hit the government guidelines of physical activity, it can lower your risk of stroke, heart disease, diabetes, some of these big common diseases, especially in our Asian communities. I've also got some great ideas, things like just doing a stair snack, as I call it. So I have a whole concept around exercise snacking, and it's taking short bouts of exercise throughout the day. So the government guidelines can look a little bit daunting for people that haven't exercised before, and it's trying to hit 150 minutes. So that's 2.5 hours of moderate intensity physical activity in the week, and 2 to 3 strength training workouts. people probably may feel a little bit lost. They might not even know what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to break it up into nice, easy, small snacks of exercise, as I call them. They're like a little treat that you can do in your day.
And really easy, simple steps just to get your heart going, moving more, and then reaping the benefits of trying to prevent things like diabetes and actually reversing things like type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, I mean, that is a bit of a myth, isn't it? Like, you get kind of a pre-diabetes, don't you, which is a big warning. And at that point in time, if you change your life, there's a good chance that you can then continue to be healthy. If you just ignore that, then you're going to get full-on diabetes, and nobody really wants full-on diabetes, do they?
No, definitely. And pre-diabetes, the research is pretty alarming that in just a year, the numbers have gone from 1.3 to 2 million in the last year. And like you say, if it is preventable through exercise and eating a healthy diet. So I think people really need, that's the whole point of this campaign, is to try and get people to take some urgent action and try and prevent things like diabetes coming on board, which can then lead to heart disease as well, which is one of the biggest killers in the world.
There is a hidden harm, isn't there, to a hidden side, rather, hidden danger to physical inactivity, because you may very well look in the mirror and you think, well, look at me. I look fine, you know, I'm not overweight or whatever. Yep. But then there is the risk of the damage that's going on inside that you can't see, which, while being physically inactive and not being, say, like 30 stone, you may think, well, I don't need to, I'm fine. But there's what's going on inside as well, isn't there, physically, to consider?
Yeah, I always go on about how you should, obviously exercise makes you feel good because you look better, but like you say, what is actually going on inside? And South Asians are more likely to store fat around the middle, unfortunately, and that's that scary visceral fat which can build up around your important organs like your liver and pancreas, and then it can cause like the insulin resistance, which means that your pancreas can't work properly, and then it increases your chances of having these high blood sugar levels, which leads on to diabetes. So it is literally what's going on inside. Obviously, there's some things that people can check. There's like easy measurements. There's things like the BMI, which is a great indicator of whether you're in the healthy range, which is between 18.5 and 24.9. Yeah. And also one of the main indicators I do with a lot of my clients in personal training sessions, when I'm taking their measurements, a waist measurement is a main indicator that if you go to your GP as an Asian, they'll probably try and take your waist measurement. And we're trying to aim for a woman to be under 80 centimeters and a man to be under 90 centimeters. Mm-hmm. And that is actually less than the white population because Asians are at higher risk of things like diabetes and heart disease.
Yeah. Now, we'll come back to health concerns in a moment. The one other thing I want to stress, and you can probably confirm or deny what I'm going to say, if you are physically inactive and you then become physically inactive, your body will start to release more chemicals that have a feel-good factor. So while you are making yourself healthier physically, maybe you are trimming up or whatever, or maybe you're just becoming, more fit, you're also doing your mental health a world of good, aren't you? Because our brain works on chemicals, and we release those chemicals during exercise that can make us feel more alive, more fresh, and, just better mentally.
Exactly, yes. You're talking exactly what I love talking about. So the whole mental health benefits, my whole brand is actually called Feel Good with Lavina, and it is all about these chemicals in your body, which are these endorphins, and they get released when you exercise. So exercise not only helps, obviously, us lose weight, it's going to help with lowering stress, improving mood. There's so much research about how exercise helps with depression, anxiety, and mental health. So Feel Good endorphins are just there waiting to be released, and as soon as you start moving, you're going to reap all these benefits.
Now, I don't want to scare anybody at all here, but we've mentioned the health risks. We're talking about potentially coronary heart disease here, maybe heart failure, maybe a heart attack. We're talking about a stroke, which could have potentially life-changing consequences, as could a heart attack. We're talking about diabetes, which when you are a full-blown we are talking about type 2 diabetes here and not type 1, because that is not something that comes about from being physically inactive. They're two different diseases. But if you get type 2 diabetes, you're in a period of pre-diabetes where you have control and you have the opportunity by eating better and by exercising well to reduce the fat around the organs, which then lowers your risk of going on to develop diabetes. But diabetes then, if you don't do anything about it, does make so many changes to your life. And I'm speaking as a type 2 diabetic here. It makes so many changes to your life that you just take for granted, like snacking and things like that. It just changes the way you have to think. So from my point of view, like, you know, I am type 2 diabetic, but from my point of view, the coronary heart disease, the stroke, the type 2 diabetes, without wanting to scare people, these are the consequences of sitting on your sofa and doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously, you know exactly how you're living with it day in, day out, and it's a great education for people listening to hear about your story. And I think the numbers are just so scary that South Asians in the UK are 6 times more likely to have diabetes than the white population. And the prevalence of diabetes is predicted to increase by 47% in the next 5 years, by 2025. So it's going to continue to have such a considerable impact on our communities. And South Asians also have a 2-fold increased risk of heart disease compared to the general population. And actually the first generation of South Asians have a 50% higher chance and risk of getting coronary heart disease. Wow. So it is pretty scary. That's why I really want to get people moving, take this urgent intervention as such with our communities.
Now, what we're talking about all seems fairly simple, but it's not. So,
in your household. So, you know, sometimes people feel that it's almost looked at as if I want to go out and exercise, it may look a little bit selfish. I think Asians have such an obligation to others, and family always comes first. So there's obligation to next of kin. You know, even parents that have retired are generally trying to help their children's businesses or helping with childcare. It just comes as part of our community. And the social expectation, sometimes exercise is actually kind of looked at a little bit alien, a little bit culturally irrelevant and undervalued. So it's that low priority mentality that I want to try and change. I think women also, so in terms of whether there's enough culturally sensitive facilities and programs, so sometimes women can be reluctant to attend mixed-sex gyms based on their religious beliefs, and there's still a little bit of a cultural taboo around exposing bodies. So I would really encourage people to look at some of my ideas of home workouts where they don't, like you said earlier, we don't have to go to a gym, and you feel comfortable maybe in your own community or in small groups of women. So that's another way we can try and tackle that barrier. The biggest barriers are actually obviously lack of time. So everyone's leading these really busy lives, especially in the UK. Asians do work hard. We work long hours. A lot of these hours can be antisocial if you're working in shops and restaurants. And I think cost is such a big barrier. So I want to try and change the mentality, because obviously people don't believe in exercise. They're not going to pay for it. But really trying to promote all the health benefits around it. So it's giving people this confidence, motivation, and a little bit of education so they understand what simple steps they can take to help better their health in the future.
I mean, you have mentioned exercise snacking, and I'm just looking at your website now, and I think this is absolutely great. You also, as a PT, offer one-to-one FaceTime and Skype personal training sessions, which I think is great because it is 2020. The technology is there, and that kind of removes one barrier, doesn't it? Because then you can train in your house, but you have your personal trainer there with you on FaceTime and Skype, and I think that is brilliant.
Yeah, I've had clients that have FaceTimed me, and they're dedicated. They've taken me on holiday with them in their holiday hotel rooms or gyms, and I'm doing FaceTime sessions with them, or even when they're just not able to attend. So if you feel like you haven't got the time to leave your house and come to a session, I can always come to them. And I'm also promoting a lot of these videos that I'm posting on Exercise Before. To start off with, I'm looking at aerobic snacks, which cover things like we've talked about, like the walks, which actually a 10-minute walk after a meal the research shows that it really reduces your blood sugar. So that's amazing for people with diabetes. The stair snacks are things that are, stairs are everywhere in everyone's house or anyone's workplace, or if you're commuting, you can walk up the escalator rather than just standing there. And just by doing these quick stair snacks, I'm talking about 3 flights of stairs 3 times a day. There's been an amazing study which showed that in just a 6-week period, it really helps boost their cardiovascular health, their fitness, and their strength. So like you say, technology is amazing. I have workouts online that people can just follow and actually work out with me, and it introduces them to just a small exercise snack, which gives you something easy to aim for. People might be daunted by doing a full hour's class. So just start off with 10 minutes. It's still going to help your health, and it's going to add up to build up to hit the government guidelines.
Now, you have this feel-good health prescription, 2.5 hours of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity a week, 3 times 3 flights of stair snacks a day, 3 times 10-minute walk snacks a day, and or 15-minute of high-intensity snacks, 2 strength snacks, and any stretch and mobility snacks. And you can follow that, can't you, just by checking your Instagram? You don't have to, pay for anything here. You can just get healthy just by checking your Instagram and following what you've shared.
Yes, I'm all about, my passion is really to try and educate people. I'm giving things out for free, like you say, and I just want to help people get better and reduce all these alarming stats on the health front. So, like you said, things, even strength training, do a lot of Asians know where to start, and I'm not talking about lifting heavy weights. I'm talking about building up with just simple movements like squats, press-ups, planks and dips, things that you can do at home with just your body weight.
Yeah.
And then it would be great, to introduce a little bit of weight. But again, I'm not saying go out and fork out on gym membership if you can't afford it. You can just use weights like something safe, like bottles and tins in your household. And then if you get into it, great, you can invest in some dumbbells and some equipment. But yes, everything is for free on my Instagram, on my YouTube. Stretch and mobility are really key. Obviously, I'm promoting stretch because I want to reduce the chance of injury. So once people start exercising, you want to retain the flexibility in your muscles and reduce any issue of injuries coming up. And mobility is so important with people leading sedentary lifestyles. We're all desk-bound. We're hunching over, looking at our phones and our screens all day. So just giving your body time and your joints and muscles to actually loosen up, it helps improve your posture. It's going to help prevent things like, neck pain that I'm sure a lot of us are feeling from sitting so long at desks and potentially on sofas at the moment.
Can I just say, you are an inspiration. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on this morning. You are an inspiration because, you fit this around being a mum and that, 3 kids and everything, and you make no excuses. You look after yourself. You can just see that looking at the Instagram, looking at the website. You can see that you look after yourself. You are an inspiration, I think, of what can be done if you have the right approach to it. And it's just about changing your approach, isn't it? Have dinner, sit down, veg out. No. Just change your approach, and as you say, doesn't have to be a massive, intense commitment. You can do it with your snacks as well. So, if people would like to find out more information about you and how you can be of help to them, whether as a personal trainer or whether just with their free tips as well, where can they go?
Thank you so much, firstly. And they can come and check me out on my Instagram at feelgoodwithlavina. I'm also on all the other socials with the same name, at feelgoodwithlavina. I've also got a website, www.feelgoodwithlavina.com, and they can, like you say, follow my free tips, advice. You can see how passionate I am about it. I want people to feel good inside and outside, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Brilliant. Lavina, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
So if you would like to find out more, feelgoodwithlavina.com is the website. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at feelgoodwithlavina.
The latest news, information.